Welcome to Open Vision, where we broaden the horizon on what is possible and essential in creating a brighter future. Today we're joined by Erik de Groot, one of the co-founders of Iron Roots, a sports brand focusing on creating a healthy alternative to plastic sportswear. Their mission is to make the best sportswear on and for the planet. Let's jump in.
If someone puts their trust in us to try something different and not use synthetic sportswear, we better deliver and better than what they were used to. Otherwise, for the future as well, if another brand tries it or brands try to change and people have a bad experience with it, it's very difficult to change that. Yeah. So it might sound strange, but I feel the responsibility strongly for us as well. That's like a chip on our shoulder to make sure that we deliver or over deliver, because it's a responsibility for the future.
Right now, recycling in this industry is not yet sustainable.
Right now, it is not.
Is that why you opt for plastic free?
Yeah. And I'd say in the end, it probably will be more sustainable, but there's so much parameters to go into that as well, because you need a lot of energy, for example, to boil down polyester and clean it and then make it ready again for a new product. So I'm not sure what the end result will be, because if you then have that energy input made with coal, for example, or another energy source, it might not even be more sustainable than using a virgin material. So from my limited point of view there, there's no silver bullet solution for that right now, but we have to go there because in 2050, we want to be circular.
You once told me that you would never want to retire from this business. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had a discussion about it because she asked me, like, hey, in 50 years, what do you see yourself doing? And I thought to myself, I never looked that much into the future, but there are so many things in the fashion industry that still can be improved. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. So in that perspective, I was like, yeah, if there are still problems to be solved and I still like doing what I am doing right now by then I don't see a reason to retire at all. We basically started out with an idea to make some products that are completely plastic free, which is quite difficult because polyester and other synthetics have their benefits. Mm-hmm. That's also why most sports brands use those materials. Mm-hmm. And making a different product was quite a challenge. So us not having a background in fashion is a blessing and a curse, because I think we come with a blank statement to the industry. But on the other hand, we had no idea how to produce stuff or sample products or how products react when you wash them or whatever. So it was quite a journey from the start. Yeah.
A lot of research, I imagine.
Yeah. So we took, I think, like 1.5 or 2 years before we even had the first products, because I mean, in the beginning, we also kind of set the bar too high, I think, because we were a bit naive. So we said that we want to do everything that we can within the Netherlands, or at least close to the Netherlands production-wise. We want to have everything made from hemp. That was in the beginning our mission, because hemp is like the opposite when it comes to sustainability to plastic. But it's not applicable to all things in sportswear. It has its place, but in the beginning, we wanted to make everything out of hemp. So we had to learn it as well while doing it. Where we are right now it's still a learning process, right? There's still so many things that we need to improve upon and will improve upon. So it's like a never-ending learning curve that you're going through.
Your mission is the best sportswear brand on and for the planet. What does that entail?
For us, that means creating products that are on par or better than what people are used to, whether it comes to comfort or breathability to certain products, or the way that people can use the products. And on the other hand, also making sure that it's the best for the planet. So making sure that the materials that we use are the best available. When we realized that basically everything was made from plastic, you immediately assume, like, okay, there should be some cost to the environment there. Obviously, it's fossil based. There are recycled polyester products that you can find, but it's not recycled from clothing to clothing. It's a whole different podcast maybe, but if you use plastics, it doesn't biodegrade, right? So if you don't want to have a product and throw it away, but if that happens, because there's big landfills all over the world, so products do end up there, then they don't biodegrade and just stick around there for a long period of time. They contaminate the soil also, because usually if you want some properties in synthetic sportswear, you need to add chemicals. So if you want to make them waterproof, windproof, whatever, you use these additives that are very toxic, and they also leak into the environment either through washing them or if they end up in a landfill. So that's also a big issue that we already saw happening in the beginning, and luckily there's more and more attention to that health aspect as well right now. And also for your skin, it's not helpful. It can cause rashes on your skin, or if you have a sensitive skin, it's not healthy for you. So we thought to ourselves, if no one is taking action on this, we might as well try to do something ourselves. If you start a new brand, for example, or if you create a new product, there's the regular path that you can take. Sometimes the cheapest path that you can take, but that comes at a cost, right? It comes to either a cost in the environment, or it can come to a cost if it comes to people. And both you can avoid, but it takes commitment, and it takes longer amounts of time to arrange that, but it also takes more investment and more cost with it. So there's challenges there, but in the end, you also have to look at it from a perspective where it's not just about the money, but also about creating a positive impact, whatever that perspective for yourself may be. But yeah, we founded the company based on those principles. One of the cool things that we did last year was create a first sports t-shirt with fungi-based dyes. So using a waste dye essentially to make sportswear. And I see the brand as a platform for new innovations to come to the market. So if we grow, then I'd see us as like a jumping board for new innovations that might not come to market because they're either too expensive or too far out there, or the market is not ready. That we can show that to the people and customers, like, hey, this is a different approach.
In order to do more of that, you have to grow and scale, and you want to be sustainable. You've previously said that you'd rather have someone own one t-shirt that lasts a year than them owning 5 t-shirts. How do you make the trade-off for the short and the long run?
In one sense, it's quite easy because we don't have any external investors. So what you see usually is that there's a new brand, they have whatever, there's Series B, Series A, and the investors behind them put some pressure on the brands or on the companies to grow because they need to exit or they need to X amount their investment. So that's, I think, one easy part for us is because we don't have that. We can have a longer vision, and I'd say it's also easy to talk for us because it's something that we started from in the beginning, right? So for us, it's something that we say, right, if something costs more, but it's either better for sustainability or aligns better with the mission that we have, then we'll just invest in it. And an easy thing in sportswear as well as usually the margins are insane. So if you have like a type A sports brand and they sell a t-shirt for 60 euros, usually they make it for like 3 or 4. Of course, all the R&D, marketing, whatever goes into it, but the margins are quite high. So there's a lot of room there as well for more sustainable practices. But if you're a big brand, you have an obligation for your shareholders, right? And if the shareholders are like, yeah, it's profit maximization, which is usually the standard. If you're a public company, then yeah, it's not going to happen, right? Only if the consumers make that conscious change and in big numbers. But
Yes, we say we want it, but then we act like that. Who is responsible actually? Consumer, producer, you are both?
it's very difficult because consuming something is ingrained in our DNA. It gives pleasure, right? You get dopamine from it, you get serotonin if you buy something, and you need to be very conscious of not falling into that trap. I need to do it myself as well. Sometimes I just started running again, so I'm like, oh, I need some new running shoes. I mean, I haven't bought running shoes in 10 years, but then I'm like, oh, maybe I should get some new stuff from this and maybe some new. It's very easy to fall into that trick if you have the opportunity to buy something, and now it's easier than ever. And then you have the third party government, they do their best. And I honestly think they always have the best intentions. The problems that they're facing or that the industries are facing are not usually black and white. There's a lot of nuances there. And the issue might usually be what government does. They just take a big broom and they brush through the whole street, and everything that's in their path goes with it, the good and the bad. So there are some limitations to what I feel that governments can do. You can force, because you say, oh, we have to be circular in 2050. So we have to force every brand to use 50% organic cotton instead of regular cotton. That's fine. But if your products break down in 5 months instead of a year, is it more sustainable?
I I think you've made some great points here, talking about trade-offs. It's not black and white, there's many nuances, and the fact that there's a lot of moving components makes it complex, which is also the reason why some people throw their hands in the air and say, you know what, we're just taking the easy route. Yet we all have the ability to choose, and whether you're a consumer or a producer, we can make a conscious choice, and that's what you've been doing at Iron Roots. And dealing with those trade-offs, I try to compile or compose a list here. Self-agency versus external policy and pressure, maybe from investors. Durability versus sustainability. And then with regards to fashion, functionality, wearability, and again, sustainability. And then the whole production process with many phases is quite complex. And has a lot of options again. So if you consider all of that, it's almost like an extensive math formula.
It does sound like it, yeah. In the end, it's just a sports product, but there's so much things that go. I mean, you can make it as difficult as possible, but I feel like if you wanna really make an impact, you have to take all those things into account, or at least weigh them in some sense. Not that we're perfect, but at least we try to weigh them in wherever possible.
So how do we move forward?
I think if you make small steps in the right direction, that's everything that we need. If everyone makes a little bit of a step in the right direction, and you have to find the right direction, that I'll give you that. That can be difficult, but even if it's small things, it's already a small step. And if we all make a small step, then in 5 years, it'll compound to a whole new world where everything will just be a bit better. And yeah, you don't have to change overnight. You can take some time with it. And I also think that for a lot of existing companies, they have a way wider impact than we can. If they even make a small change, then it can have a way bigger impact. And even if it's a small change, it can already give yourself a dopamine hit. And then we don't have to consume as much because you get the dopamine hits from making positive change. There we go. That's the solution for that.
So it's a vehicle for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's we're there. Circle is round again.
So if you're going to dream really big, where are we going to be in 100 years? Are raw materials abolished? Are we recycling at the atomic level? What is happening?
Yeah, then I'd say then recycling. The technology will be so far that we don't need it anymore. I still say that fashion will be around. People still need to express themselves. One of the major ways that people do this is through fashion. So I think that will still be there. One of the major issues with fashion is that it's a global chain. So there's many things at stake, and also things get lost really easily because there's so many players involved. But I'd say maybe it's a different approach where you indeed have like a 3D printer at home, and you have the 3D printer make you a new dress, and then you get home in the evening and you put the dress back into the machine, and the machine melts it down again, or makes raw material out of it again. And then the next day or in the evening, you say, tomorrow I want to wear this. And your 3D printer makes that again. So you have your own ecosystem. So if you boil down, if everyone would have that in their own home and keep it very manageable, that might be a good solution there.
Thank you for listening. Iron Roots is such a great example of two people seeing opportunity and wanting to create something better that benefits all of us in the long run. Becoming more sustainable is all about taking that first step. And like Erik said, a small change can already have big impact depending on the size and scale of your company or brand. With Erik's brand, some of their garments save more than 60% in CO2 emissions during the production process. That is compared to polyester clothing. You know, it all starts with making a conscious choice. So think about that. Until the next one, this is Open Vision Space.